So, bargain bin dollar box writer Gail Simone chastises comic pro Mike Barron for perceived Comicsgate association. So, in case you're new, there's a little movement going on called Comicsgate, and it's pretty much just culture war comes to comics, basically. And you have a lot of these pros, pretty much just about all of them, even if they don't directly support it, they can't, right? Because if they don't condemn it, then they all come out and they pretty much lose their jobs. So they have to either stay silent as long as they can, or just go ahead and say, yep, Comicsgate. Or you have these bargain bin writers come out and pretty much just chastise them and try to condemn them. So, in case you don't know who this is, she's pretty much, as far as I know, mostly known for her writing on Batgirl. She's the reason that Batgirl Barbara Gordon became a hipster, basically, in Burnside for the longest time, when she wore that cosplay-looking costume. That's pretty much what she's mostly known for. I can't think of anything else predominantly that she's done, but I find it funny here. She's Gail Simone, author of Domino and Plastic Man, has long been vocal about her dislike for members of the Comicsgate movement. Like many of the creators currently employed by Marvel, she believes that Comicsgate is a movement based on bigotry and hatred rather than a consumer revolt. And Simone has made it to a point to routinely decry and condemn anyone associated with the movement. I believe comics are for everyone. There's no excuse for harassment. There's no place for homophobia, transphobia, racism, and misogyny in comics criticism. Also, at max, SARS rates better than an entire group on their best day. Seriously, why aren't any of these people clever? I also wonder, why are there so few actual writers in Comicsgate? It's pretty much one actual writer, quite a few talented artists, but the writing pool is just an empty bird pond. And man, does it show. It's funny you say that, Gail. So, she's writing Plastic Man and Domino currently. So this is the top comics list right here, right? These are all of the, you can pretty much see what the comics are selling to shops. Now these are, it's important to note, and they always say, well, those are shipped numbers. So you can pretty much tell by the decrease, right? So we have Uncanny X-Men number 1 here at 176,000, right? But then we see issue 2, because it's a weekly series, drops to 62. And then we see that issue 3 drops to 58. So there's a sharp drop because no one wants it, right? But then you have the comics that do well. You go up there, Amazing Spider-Man, issue 9, sitting at 85,000, right? And it stays up there. Batman stays up there. Usual suspects. Well, let's find out what Gail Simone is shipping to comic shops. Oh, whoa, we got to keep going way down here. Oh, there she is. 21,000, issue 8. Getting close to canceling, pretty much. Where's Plastic Man? How's Plastic Man doing, Gail? 32. Plastic Man, issue 6, 15,000 units. But hey, those poor writers, dang, those guys are terrible. But you're a blockbuster writer, huh?
You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard! Jesus Christ, I've met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all.
So, what happened? Well, we had somebody post a funny Photoshop picture in jest. Since she attacks everybody left and right, naturally, people are going to clap back at her. And, that's too much. We can't have that. See, these people think that they think they're privileged, that they can just crap and walk all over the people that buy their stuff. Here's the thing with comic pros. They think that they're like superstars. They think they're rock stars because they write comics. Now, maybe in the 90s, when you had people like Rob Liefeld selling Levi jeans and stuff, but it ain't like that anymore. I'm pretty sure you guys couldn't even get McDonald's to, sell Happy Meals at a local town. The local McDonald's that wants to buy some airtime to kind of promote their McDonald's because there's so many. I'm pretty sure they couldn't even get Gail to come in there and say, I love these hamburgers. Like, that wouldn't happen. No one wants her. No one cares. Nobody even knows who she is. In fact, I didn't even put your name in the title, Gail, because no one would know who you are. They say, who's that? I had to put former Batgirl writer. Because that's the only way people would be interested. So let's get back into what's going on here. So somebody posts a salty meme because, Gail sits there and craps on people all day. That might explain, by the way, Gail, why your comics are selling 15,000 units a month, because you spend more time on Twitter than you do writing your books. You're a lazy writer. So we have Wenger says, who should be writing comics? Bitter cat ladies. And then Mike Barron comes in and says, they are. And then Gail Simone says, okay, this is who you are as a human being, Mike. I didn't want to believe it, but here we are. So Barron's work on the Badger and the Flash was influential to Gail Simone, according to her. And she made a big, long post about it on Facebook. Like, oh my God, he doesn't disavow them. And she says she had some back and forth with him on Twitter or on Facebook Messenger or whatever. Same thing, really. They're both cancerous. And he basically said, okay, well, I disavow the name, but I don't disavow the people, right? And because of that, it's not enough. Gail says, I don't forget, but I don't sit and dwell on it either. Ooh, Gail remembers.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Oh, and then old Mr. Mark Waid even comes in. I think some, maybe not a lot, of Mike and his peers turn to bitterness and hatred, which is attributable to refusing to come to terms with the unfortunate reality that every creator, still talented, eventually ages out. As far as the audience is concerned, I'm well aware I'm about a half hour away. They lash out and blame it on liberals, or diversity hiring, or whatever else is convenient to scapegoat. Oh, Mark Waid, Mr. Fix-It-Now with his chainsaw. You should have aged out a long time ago, man, because you're writing. Have you read your Avengers and Champions run? They're terrible. And so we all know the story with Mark Waid, but he always has to chime in because he's Mr. Positive, Mr. Short Temper. I'm still waiting for his accusations to come out. I'm very excited about that one. But basically, this turned into a big Twitter feud for a while, and Gail, of course, comes in going. So then she just goes to have a big rant about how, criticism is okay, but yet it seems to be the main problem with these people is when you do criticize their work, they get all bent out of shape, especially if it's Gail Simone, who's a woman. You criticize her, well, you are a misogynist. And that's kind of the common thread with these people is you're a misogynist, hater, racist, all that stuff if you criticize their work. That's really been the MO of all this. And then they label that as that you're a hater and every ism and phobe in the book because they can't take criticism. It's basically a big group of dysfunctional babies working in the industry that are even maybe a couple of them are talented, like the Donnie Cates, the Al Ewings, the Chip Zdarsky's, Brian Edward Hills, who's actually not a big baby and can take criticism. I hate to lumping him in with these people, but he does write comics, but he doesn't act like that. He just kind of writes comics and his fans, cool with the fans. But then, you have people like Gail here that if you criticize, she can't take it. And instead of focusing on her craft and writing good books, she runs around and just cries and whines all day on Twitter, which seems to be a problem with a lot of these people. They want to sit on Twitter all day long and just lose brain cells tweeting back and forth people. So instead of working on a product that would shut everybody up, she just wants to sit on Twitter all day and call everybody pieces of garbage. People need to realize that your industry is dying, right? You have talented writers like Brian Hill, right? He's going to go back to Hollywood. He said he's going to write 2 books a month or something. Bratman Outsiders and I think something else, and that's it. Other than that, he's going back to Hollywood, where he'll probably do fine because he's got talent. Most of you can't even get out of your roommate's apartment. You can't even get out of your 2-bedroom studio apartments or whatever with 30 roommates sharing a room, living like sardines, and you got cats running around all over the place. It's terrible. Like, grow up, you know. You have like 13 comic book stores that have already closed this year, right? It's only going to get worse because of Marvel's predatory practices, your terrible writing, your lazy art. Nothing is getting better. You're going to work yourselves out of a job, basically, is what's going to happen with this crap. And, you know, it's going to be funny when it happens, right? There's plenty of back issues and video games and movies that I can survive on. I don't need you people, right? We don't need you. That's the thing. There's manga, stuff like that. Like, we will all survive. Will you? Because I don't think any of you have any other kind of skills that you can fall back on if comics collapse, right? Most of you didn't hack it as young adult authors, so you came to comics. So, yeah, grow up, Gail.